Hi, my name is Randy Cantu. I wanted to give you a little introduction about the video we're about to see. For several years now, there have been kind of an urban legend about the current in the Savannah River for the 70.3 Half Ironman race. It's been rumored that at some point during one of the races, the race staff threw a bag of potato chips into the river after the last wave went off, and the current actually got the bag of potato chips to the finish line of the swim leg for the swim cutoff. Last year, and I'm assuming this year, the cutoff will be 1 hour and 10 minutes. So I wanted to test that theory and see if it really was true or not. So for this test, what I did, I took a regular bag of Lay's potato chips, classic. In order to make sure I got a good reading and a GPS track, I took a Garmin 310, put it in a plastic bag along with the bag of potato chips, and a Garmin GTU10 so that if I lost the bag, I could find it later. Sealed it up, got in the canoe, went out on the river, and started the test. And as a backup, I wore a Garmin 910 XT, just kind of keep track of things while I'm in the boat. You'll see some of that in the video. So here we are getting started. We're in the canoe. We're starting the timer mode on the 310 XT. We're at the point just below the railroad bridge where the starting dock is, placing the bag of floating potato chips in the river, and we're starting downstream. And we're moving at a pretty good clip, very good current right along in here. And downstream looking back upstream toward the bridge, a little photo op. And here's a look at the Garmin Connect live track website. We're about 12 minutes and 13 seconds in, 18 hundredths of a mile, 316 yards. And looking further downstream, you can see the Gordon Highway Bridge. We'll be heading there. And there's some spectators along the shoreline wondering what the hell's going on. And here we are moving from the 5th Street Bridge to the Gordon Highway Bridge. And we're putting ourselves at about 21 minutes, 40 seconds in, 3/10 of a mile. Almost 500 meters. And there we are looking back upstream from underneath the Gordon Highway Bridge. Up behind us there you can see the start at the railroad bridge and the 5th Street Bridge. Some fabulous footage right here, making great progress. Now I'm starting to get a little bit worried. This is putting us right a little bit over half a mile. Our time is 34 minutes and 16 seconds. If we're going to make an hour and 10 minutes, it's going to be kind of close. You hear a little bit of a breeze there. At this point, it's not a factor as it's not blowing upstream. And a great downstream shot there. Looking here again at our time, we're at 48 minutes, 58 seconds, 0.77 of a mile, just over 1,240 yards. Looking downstream, you can see the boathouse, the area of the finish line way in the distance. More spectators, this time on the South Carolina shoreline. And this is a shot looking toward the South Carolina side, still making good progress. And as we swing around to the right, still looking downstream, on your far right, you'll see the finish line area. There's the boathouse just coming into the edge of your view. One more spectator trying to figure out yet again what the hell is going on with that guy in the canoe and a bag of potato chips going down the river. And here we are at 1.02 miles. The time is 1 hour, 5 minutes, 25 seconds. It's not looking good for the 1:10 cutoff at this point. Just to the right there, you can see the lower marina, the old marina. And I realized when I was filming this, it's right at this point, right there where you see the flagpole at the old marina. This is the point where we hit 1 hour and 10 minutes. So I'm pulling up an aerial view of Garmin Connect here. And you can see our progress as we move along. If you look down at the lower left of the screen, you can see that we're coming up on right at 1:10, and I'll pause it here, and that shows you that we did not make the cutoff. We would have missed the cutoff with just downstream assistance. There's the finish area right there, the finish chute, and that was our destination. Now, in all honesty, I have to point out that if you look at this track here, the wind did start blowing us a little bit off course toward the South Carolina side, adding a little distance. So here we are adjacent to the finish area, looking as the potato chip bag floats across. So as we make our retrieval, I guess we have to admit that we didn't prove the theory, but it's still plausible. Had we had a little bit better current, had we stayed a little bit better on track, we might have made it in the cutoff of 1 hour and 10 minutes. I did let us float a little bit past here, so the time you're going to see here is a little bit off. I think we can subtract maybe 3 or 4 minutes. But what we recorded on this date at this time was 1 hour 26 minutes. We can call it 1 hour 20, but it's still not under the hour and 10 minute cutoff. So it's plausible and possible, but not confirmed. The day that I did this test, the river was flowing at about 6,500 cubic feet per second, which is a little bit stronger than usual, but not as high as it is at flood stage. Normally it's 5,000 to 6,000. So I guess we confirmed that the myth is plausible, not confirmed, but definitely plausible, depending on the water conditions the day of the race. So in true Mythbuster fashion, I decided to see if I could actually confirm the myth by pushing the extreme. Coincidentally, we had a lot of rain in the past couple of days, so today I went out and tried it again on the river. As you recall, this earlier test that was plausible but not confirmed was done at 6,500 cubic feet per second. Today the river was flowing at 16,100 cubic feet per second. That's 16,100 cubic feet per second opposed to 6,500. So it was roaring. Let's take a look at what we found out. So here we are getting started with our high-tech equipment, bag of chips, a couple of GPSs, and we'll get started. River's way up today. You notice it's a lot muddier than usual. Stronger current noticeable right away. And we have a little bit of a wind blowing upstream, but I don't think that's going to be a factor. And as you can see here, our average speed is 1.6 miles an hour. Keep in mind, our first trip down, we were less than a mile an hour. We're about 9/10 of a mile an hour at this point. So it's looking very, very good. Crossing under the 5th Street Bridge here. 1.8 miles per hour. Great average speed. And you can see us approaching the Gordon Highway Bridge. Still moving along great. Water is about 1.5 feet higher than it was earlier this week, as you can tell by the pilings there. And taking a look at our Garmin Connect track, you can see that we're making great progress, much steadier progress as we move along. In fact, at this point, at 3/10 of a mile, we are at 10 minutes and 28 seconds, whereas previously at this point we were at 21 minutes and 40 seconds. This is a graph showing the river level, the flow level, and how it's increased recently. 2 miles an hour on average at this point, almost twice what we were doing before. Some waves thanks to a careless boater. There's a great blue heron, and you can see the boathouse approaching rapidly as we get closer. And here we are jumping a little bit ahead. All right, it's getting pretty exciting here. We're getting close to the point where we missed our 1 hour and 10 minute cutoff previously. So here we are right at 1 mile, and we are at, 27 minutes and 34 seconds. Clipping along at 2.1 miles an hour. And there is the boathouse on the right, 2.1 miles an hour. Looking up ahead, you'll see the area where the finish line is, less than 1/10 of a mile away. And there it is. There's a dock that will actually be upstream. On your left there, coming into view, is the boat ramp where you exit the water. And I think it's safe to say we have confirmed the myth. You can float down the river as a bag of potato chips and beat the 1 hour and 10 minute cutoff time. And let's look at our final evidence here. All right, 34 minutes, 53.33 seconds. So I think it's confirmed. Kind of depends on the conditions, and the river could be flowing as low as 4,000, high as 20,000. It really depends on the amount of rain we've had in the days before the race. So you should be prepared to swim. At worst, you get a sizable boost from the swim. There's definite current. It's not flat water. Best case, you get a free swim. Oh, and one last thing. There's also a rumor that the river has alligators. That I know is true, but I assure you as a swimmer on race day, you have nothing to fear. Any gators in the river will be avoiding that section of the river at all costs. But you know what? You need to watch this next day. While I was filming this potato bag chip float, well, just watch this. So we're continuing downstream. Take a quick look over to the Georgia bank and see some wildlife. What the f***ing hell? It's a f***ing alligator. Holy sh**. Damn. All right, we're going to try to get a little bit closer and see what we can see of this little fella. He's only about 3 feet. Holy shit, goddamn.